Welcome. Today we're going to talk about Temptress 1926, starring Greta Garbo with Kamran Pasha, who is a screenwriter and I would say Hollywood insider.
Yeah,
Um,
around forever.
and we had such a great talk about another film, 1926 Torrent, that was also starring Greta Garbo. And we talked a little bit about her life there too. But you suggested this movie, Temptress, which is another movie that I've heard a lot about
Yeah.
and got the chance to actually watch it. And wow.
Wow is the right word. I mean, I saw it several years ago. I saw it again, obviously, for our stream today. And it's just one of the really great films of all time. It's amazing. If it's silent or talky, it's just an incredible movie.
Yes, it's an epic, I would say, because it does get to sort of those moments where you're just like, wow, I can't believe this production. And then at the same time, there is an odyssey, if you will, of a love story that kind of happens, and this whole thing. So let's get started into this. It's Temptress. This is based on a novel by Vicente Blasco Ibanez, who I believe wrote the other movie, the book for the other movie that we saw, Torrent.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, very likely. I'll check that, but it makes sense. I mean, again, remember this is her second film in Hollywood, right? And so
Yes.
it makes sense that that they would, this is the MGM. They've got her on contract. It makes sense that they would go with what worked because the first one
Yes.
that we watched, a Torrent, was such a shocking success because this is an unknown actress from Sweden, 21 years old, and it becomes essentially a blockbuster. Like a massive blockbuster. And so MGM's like, all right, well, let's keep doing that formula, right? Let's get another book, right? So, yeah.
Yes. And this is based on one of his books, La Tierra de Todos, which I think it's translated to the crown of everything or something grand like that. It's really a pretty title. It's also directed by Fred Niblo.
It really is beautifully directed. I mean, there's scenes in here like there's it's decades ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
There's visual stuff, edits and cuts I've never seen before, or the
Yeah.
world hadn't seen before. So yeah.
Yes, and elements of horror too in there, believe it or not, that I notice in modern films. And the co-star, the guy who's really leading this with Greta Garbo is Antonio Moreno, who plays Emmanuel Robledo, who is an engineer. Very impressive acting by this gentleman as well, which we had talked about the acting, or Greta was in a league of her own, and I think that this particular actor really brought it.
He's very much her equal in this. I mean,
yes.
She's going to go on to have like John Gilbert and other very famous leading men that she becomes associated with. But this is, I mean, the gentleman in the Torrent was a perfectly good actor, but there's a whole layer that Antonio Moreno brings to this character.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. All right.
Well, what's great about this is that these are silent films, and so much of the story is told through play cards that come in. There's probably not a lot. There's probably maybe dozen, probably less than 2 dozen in this entire movie. There's only a handful, right?
Yes.
But quite a few of them are these like profound musings of the nature of women, right? So this is Tagore, who is an Indian poet, right? Rabindranath Tagore, who I might have been alive at the time. So, O woman, thou art not alone, the creation of God, but of man. And so, that's a theme that is throughout this movie, which is that essentially women are a projection, or what we call women. We men, and I'm a man who very much loves women, we project onto women all kinds of things and end up fighting and dying for that projection rather than the actual human being that's there. And that's kind of the theme of this movie, that many women, and I think many women, not just 1926, I think 2026, 100 years, I think back in 1426, many women feel that they are trapped in a world of men's projections, and the only way to survive that is to play with those projections, to use them to your advantage. And that's the theme of this movie.
Yes, you get the sense of that definitely, and how much does the element of 1920s really plays into this sort of film. There's sort of a strong feminine independence in a
Mhm.
way, or craving that independence, and we see that with the style of the 1920s with the short haircuts and the shorter hemlines too.
Yeah.
And they would
This is the
being
Roaring
a little
Twenties,
less.
right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
also see
yeah.
the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote in the United States had just been passed, right? And so this is still a time where the idea of an independent woman is more of a theory than in any kind of reality.
Yes, yes. So I really love that, this as a timepiece. At first, we get a little scene. It starts off beautifully.
Mhm.
Just me showing the pictures is nothing compared to actually watching the progression of the film,
Oh, the
because
cinematography is just stunning. I
it's
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and there's large set pieces like this opening sequence where there's a lot of extras to manage, and there's dance sequences, a lot of very creative stuff that Mr. Niblo did as a director. But yeah, this opening sequence here is a
Yeah.
masquerade ball in Paris.
Exactly. And it's absolutely beautiful. It starts off with this incredible party. Now, I've seen gifs of this party for different occasions. People
Oh,
have
there are
flipped
gifts
it.
of this, which makes it's very archetypal. This, in some
Yeah.
ways, summarizes the Roaring Twenties, right, in Europe.
Yes, yes, a big party, and it's huge, and everyone's in the masquerade ball type gear, and we have the theater box where a man is telling Elena, what is your
Which is Greta
decision?
Garbo, our star, yes.
Yes, and she says, no, I'll never love you, and
Which is the beginning thing. Like this poor woman just sitting there to watch the masquerade ball, and immediately she's harangued by some stranger, right, or some
yeah,
guy. Not a stranger. He's probably had some interaction with her.
yeah, and he's very demanding. It's like, sit here. You definitely get the sense she doesn't have anything to do with him.
So she
She's
tries to
mad.
escape, right, through the dance, but then she's
Yeah.
still wherever she goes. And remember, she's still masked. I mean, she's still masked. She's wearing one of those old sort of masks that you imagine of these old masquerade balls where you hold it with, doesn't cover her entire face. But she's trying to get through this, ballroom to escape the
Yes.
suitor. And then she becomes a center of attention. Other men suddenly want her.
Yes, and they're chasing her literally. It is the metaphor for the character,
Mhm.
and how she feels. She feels like she can't get away from everyone trying to get at her body.
And that's it just struck me now, the whole opening with the mask. It's very brilliant because she's being chased with her mask on. Nobody cares about her.
Who she
They don't care about her, who she really is, the mask, right? They care about her appearance, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
so
yeah.
and then that leads into the next scene where we're going to meet our hero.
Oh, yes. And so, yeah, just to get you scale,
Yeah.
that these are hundreds of people, and that's just what they took with this one moment. The camera
Yeah.
pans and you see hundreds more. And so
And
that
they're
that is
dancing. I mean, it's such a beautifully organized scene.
I know, wouldn't it? And like, what would it be like to be at that party to see what they're doing?
So she
Then we
escapes
have
to the garden. Yeah, she escapes to the
yeah.
garden. And then there's this mysterious masked man who she meets.
Yeah, and he rescues her. And so when they start talking, he wants to know Mademoiselle, will you be I think it'd be too bold if I asked to see your face.
So
Because
now
this
again, here we've got this theme here. Somebody who actually wants to see her,
yeah,
right?
oh, yeah,
You know, it's
yeah,
not, I mean,
yeah.
everyone else is chasing the image, even with the mask. He wants to
Yes,
get
yeah.
to know her soul.
Yes. Yeah. And she takes a little while to loosen up, but he takes off his mask first,
Mhm.
and then she reveals herself, which is again, when we're talking about relationships, usually, it's sort of like give or take. You tell a story that's personal, I tell a story that's
Yeah,
personal, and
who
then
becomes vulnerable first? That's always the
yes.
question in any relationship. Who lets their guard down? Who takes the risk of opening up when the other person might reject them or hurt them?
Yes. Oh, isn't that brilliant that they wove that in, and it sort of stands for that. So of
Mhm.
course, when he sees her, she is absolutely gorgeous, and there she is in all of her gorgeousness. And of course, she's doing the Garbo microfacial movements, and it's like, and she's trying to
That
be
nobody else can imitate. I mean, that's
nobody. It's
it's Betty Davis says it's like looking at someone who has diamonds in every pore of their skin, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah, and what she does with her eyes, and what she's everything. It's just incredible. Truly something to behold to see this on film. And he's taken aback and he's like, "Oh my God, you're
as is the audience." I mean,
yeah.
the movie and everyone is just, their mouths are agape and who is this Greta Garbo?
Yes. And so they really hit it off. They have a lot of there's a lot of chemistry. Says, "I must have you alone. I have so much to say to you. I've waited so long just for you." And
so this is sort of this is the love at first sight kind of thing. They don't even know each other's names. They don't know each other's stories, but it's this cosmic destiny, as a sort of, a guy who was once a great romantic, many people believe in this kind of thing, and maybe even it is real. And so, but definitely it works in this film. Everyone else has lust at first sight for her, but he has love at first sight.
Yes. And the feeling's mutual. She, like, whatever he's saying, she's loving it. She's enjoying it. You can tell her body language. She's not just allowing, but succumbing to it, and in the most beautiful way.
Shooting star, that was so beautiful.
I know that little special effect, and I was like, okay, so I'm trying to I had to rewind it a couple of times to see how it was done.
There's no template for anything they're doing, right?
They're creating the things that we will eventually become what we see now for special effects. So this was really special. It says, "All my life I've been wishing to meet such a woman as you on such a night as this." And he says this, "Tell me you are free to love me." And that's the key element here.
And then they have great Greta Garbo kisses, that are romantic.
This is her response. It's like, "Oh God."
These are like the grand Hollywood cinematic kisses. Greta Garbo does them perfectly, right? So
it's full of drama and full of the passion. Yeah, definitely. She doesn't exactly lie, but she does let on that she's available.
And she's basically, he says, "Well, when can I see you again?" He says, "Well, just come back to this garden every night. I'll be here waiting." And again, was this shot in Paris, or these are just I guess maybe B-roll, or I don't think these are paintings. They could be matte paintings, but I don't think they are.
Yes. I was like, oh, this is so, beautiful. Like, we're getting, just for them just to try this, I think is a cool aspect of it. We know that we're in Paris for sure. Let us keep for an hour the glamour of romance. I tell you this, I belong to no one else. So she flat out says,
but but again, I think on one level we're going to discover she's lying, but on another level, I think in her soul she doesn't feel she's lying, because her soul doesn't belong to these other men that we're going to meet, but her soul belongs to him. So she's telling herself she's not lying.
Yes, it is a false truth.
Again, it's all it's that era of subjective times. It's her truth.
Yeah.
Not society's truth. It's her truth.
Yes, definitely not society's truth. In a very smart quarter of Paris was the town residence of
Monsieur Marquis de Torrebianca. Okay. Again, it feels like that's probably right out of the novel. It feels like a Spaniard's effort to give someone a noble title in France, right?
Yes. So the Marquis is a very interesting character.
First read him, he's like smooching on his maid.
Yeah. He is the one person that's not crazy about Elena. But he's using her. He's using her to maintain his wealth.
Yeah, so she's his wife, and which we're not spoiler. It's coming very soon in the movie, but she's his wife, and and we can see he's a philanderer, a faux rich man who's living off of debt.
Yes, he has got the title of Marquis, but he doesn't really have the wealth.
He doesn't have the finances to back that up.
Yeah, and so maybe at one point he may have had that, but he may have squandered it, and we'll talk more about that later. But Robledo comes to see his friend the Marquis, and they catch up on some old times. So he says, "So let me introduce you to my wife," and who shows up.
And it's the woman from, and again, it's with the established. It was the night before, so it's not like months later. It's the night before he had met the love of his life. and now she turns out to be married to his wealthy friend, right?
Yes, it's so heartbreaking. I was
Speaking of
heartbroken.
her incredible gowns, I mean, she has some incredible gowns in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the costuming in this film is so spectacular. So she comes out with this like fur coat here, velvet. It's beautiful.
Well, this is black and white, so you can't really see, the color, but just there it is. If it appears like this, to come out at you in a black and white film, you know that in real life it was spectacular. Well, and you can see his body language. Robledo's language is not happy about this and is disgusted about the fact that she lied to him.
Let me comment on his acting, right? Because we talked about her genius was exactly the word you said. These micro facial movements, right? She could do slight twitches of the eye, a slight tremor in the cheek. I mean, these were natural movements of such subtle acting, right?
Yes.
And that's why she's so genius, is that in silent film you had to be much more expressive, and she didn't need to be. She was the one person that just the acting was so minute that you got it right. Whereas what the actor playing Robledo here, he's very expressive in a silent film way, but it's very effective, right? You really believe him every time. Of course, they dramatize. It's just like on stage. It's big. It's big because it has to be big because there's no dialogue, right? So, but nonetheless, you never feel like it's big when you're watching him. His reaction.
Yes. I know every emotion that he has throughout the film, and most of the time it's disgusted.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the moment of this sort of his heart breaking, right?
Yes, I mean, my heart broke. Yeah, my heart broke too. I felt like him. I was like, oh, no, I was really disappointed. And even her body language was like, yeah, now you know the truth.
Yeah, and what's amazing is she keeps her game face on, right? Her body language, you could tell, okay, she's like, I mean, she's a woman that has, as we see, crazy things happen to her a lot, so she's kind of used to having a game face, right?
Yeah.
But she can't hide the fact that she's like, oh crap, right? Like this ideal of this romance for her is now sullied and shattered, right?
Yeah.
She's got to take the game face on, right? Because they got to keep the high society. I'm the married rich woman. This is a stranger I've never met before. She's got to keep the facade going.
Yeah. More great facial expression. Yeah, he's fantastic. They get a chance to be alone, and he says, last night you made me sacred vows of love. You swore you belong to no other man, and that really matters to him. That really matters to him. Even if it was her idea, she really deep down inside her heart, this was love for her. He doesn't care. It's not just that, it is also in the light of society as well, matters to him as well.
So now I'm going to speak as a man, and Retro, I urge you to speak for women in the audience. I'm going to speak as a man. I speak as a man who is a romantic, who's written a lot of romantic scripts and all that, right? For men, again, I'm not speaking for women. I feel I understand female psychology on this issue because I've written a lot of love stories, right? But I'm just going to speak as a man. So the male psychology is we tend to idealize first love. We tend to idealize it. This whole concept, and I'm going to use the term, which is a little crass, but the madonna-whore complex, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and every man imagines the woman he's going to be loved is going to love him unconditionally and as purely as his mother did, the Madonna, right?
Oh.
The moment, I mean, and women find this very difficult to understand because I think I'll let you speak for women, but my instinct is women have a perhaps different view of love. But for men, we start off very idealized when we meet a woman and usually it's a physical thing, like he doesn't even know her name. So it's projection, right? We see this beautiful woman, we project onto her all of these things. And we feel this intense emotion we call love, and we imagine her to be the Madonna, that she's going to love us unconditionally and purely like our mothers did, like Madonna, the mother of Jesus, like the archetype of divine love, right?
Yeah.
And then the realization that she's a human being, that maybe she doesn't love us in the same way, maybe she's got a past, maybe she's got other things, other men in her life, all these things that shatter the Madonna image.
Yeah,
it is so shattering for a man who's been programmed romantically in his mind from that this is what love is, that it is so shattering, it leads to heartbreak and then to anger which leads to the you're a
Yes.
whore. It leads to the you're a whore. You go straight from Madonna to whore. That's where that concept comes from. And I'm telling you, that happens, right? You know, when my heart was broken for the first time, let's just say I went through the range of those emotions, right? Because what happens is when that happens, again, I'm only speaking for men. When that happens for a man, it's a vase that's broken that can never be put back together. There's no Humpty Dumpty. It can't be put back together. You know? So after that, a man loses his belief in love, right? That's why you have so many sort of the bad boys. Bad boys created from heartbreak because they believe women cannot, when they discover a woman cannot love you like your mother did. That's a mother-child relationship. It's not a relationship of lovers. It's a different dynamic, right? When a man's Madonna fantasy is shattered, it leads to anger, it leads to resentment, and it leads to either you try to pretend yourself, okay, well, you know, as we'll see other characters pretend to themselves that she loves them, right? Lie to themselves, or you become very bitter. And sort of the bad boys, we're gonna meet some bad boys in this movie, are the product of that. The bad boys, well, you know, since I no longer believe in the divine love, I now will become the devil, right? And so that's how a man responds to heartbreak. And women are often very startled because you can speak for women. I think many women have a very different approach because of their biology, their practical realities towards love. So maybe you can speak to how women might react to that.
Well, I do know some women who also go into that, you know, anger stage.
Idealized.
Like all men are all, you know, terrible. And then there are some who are just willing to give it a try again. You know, but with somebody different. And then there are also some people who keep on making the same mistakes over and over again because they're you know, they're in a make-believe concept of what love might be. So
and then it tends to be very binary. Once your heart is broken, most men they can't Humpty Dumpty it back together again. They become a different man after that. Often a very bitter man, but in some ways it can be positive, right? You know, I think there was some rap artist, hip hop artist that said a man cannot graduate until a woman breaks his heart, and then he has a choice: either kills him or it makes him a great man. Ooh. You can either channel that pain into self-destruction, or you channel that pain into achieving great things, and we're going to see what he does.
Yes. She goes, if I lied, it was because I love you.
Again, see, in her mind, she's not lying here. In her mind, she didn't want to spoil the perfect thing. She knew she's a woman that understands male psychology very well. That's how she survives, right?
Yes.
As we will see. So she knew this guy had already idealized her. He had made her Madonna. Everyone else made her the whore they wanted, the lusted after. She saw that she was his Madonna. So she's not going to shatter that for him. And she'd obviously hoped that he would never find this out.
Yeah. And he did. He sure did. One of the traits that she has is manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's a survival thing. I mean, you know,
it is a survival.
She's not, you know, although she's projected by many men as evil, she's not evil. She's just trying to survive in a world where she's not physically strong, and the only thing she has is her beauty, which won't last forever, as we will see, right? And so that's the only thing she has to keep herself alive.
Yeah. You know, you really do feel her remorse for this, but this hasn't stopped her desire for wanting to be by the way, this scene right here, again, excellently acted. You can see all the complex emotions that she's going through. And
now we're going to a dinner party of a rich man who is sort of the financial backer of the Marquis.
Yes. And his name is
something like that.
Fontenoy. And
he's like a banker. He's like a rich banker.
Yeah, he's a rich banker, and he throws this incredible Great Gatsby style party. It's insane.
And this is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, where the camera is just on this massive banquet where all these people, the men and their women are sitting next to each other. And then I don't know do you have a shot of the feet, of the legs?
Yes, I do. I
We'll get to that
do.
so the camera, this is again, this is not easy camera
Yes.
work in 1926. The camera just pans back over this table, right? And
Yeah.
little by little reveals what a majestic, dinner party this is. You only think it's
Oh,
one or two people, and you just keep pulling back, right? It's in some ways it's the reverse of the Star Wars reveal, where the opening of Star Wars, where you see
yes.
the Star Cruiser, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, right? So here's like
Yeah.
the table just keeps getting bigger and bigger as you pull back.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And he's doing this particular party in her honor,
Yeah.
for in Elena's honor. And
And this,
yeah,
this I
this is
love this. So they spend a lot of time under the table to show the difference, right? So above the table, the women are all very polite and very elegant, and beneath the table, all of the women, none of the men, all of the women are dancing to the beat.
yeah.
And some of them are like rubbing up to the other man next to them, not their husband, right? And
Yes, or doing
what's beneath the surface, where the feet reveal what is happening, where culture society cannot.
Yes, I love that. That was such a great demonstration. And we go back
Now our
to
host we've seen our host do something. We've seen our host pour something into his drink. We don't know what it
Yeah.
is, and he
Yeah.
gets up to give a toast.
It's a long toast. But it ends with this: to the temptress who asks for nothing but takes all a man can give and more. He goes through the whole thing, basically outing the fact that he has been supplying the wealth for the Marquis
In exchange for his wife.
spending time with his wife.
The Marquis has basically rented out his wife sexually.
Yes.
He's a pimp. He's rented out his wife sexually to this man. And we don't know the exact circumstances, but apparently that arrangement has led to his financial ruin.
Yeah.
And he blames her for it. It's not his own, it's not his fault that he can't control how much, he's giving her jewels and all this. He's throwing all his wealth at her, right? And then he realizes one day he's about to be, I guess he says tomorrow you will discover, he's have financial scandals coming. I guess he's about to be outed as bankrupt because he gave her everything. But it's like, you did that, man.
Yeah. No, but
you gave her.
yeah, he doesn't want to take the rap for his own actions.
So he's saying this in polite society. He's like, we had an affair. We were discreet, my friends. We let the world think her husband gave her these jewels. And again, we is not just her, it's her husband. This is like a cuckolding situation. This is really scandalous. Can you imagine this at high society in Paris? Someone is saying this?
And he just falls over and dies.
He's poisoned himself. He committed suicide.
That was a shocker. I was like, wait a minute, what am I watching? Oh my God.
Yeah. And he's humiliated her in public. And so we're now seeing the effect she has on men. It's been announced, the effect. He calls her the Temptress, the title of the movie.
Yes. And this is the first death in connection to her.
First.
That we know of.
First we know. I sense there's been others. I mean, this seems like a pattern. But there'll be more to
come. Which is really ridiculous. But Robledo is he's very supportive as a friend, but he is still very disgusted by all of this. He's like, how
now it's even getting worse. She was married to, and lied to him. Now she's having an affair with this guy, and it's a public scandal. All Paris is going to talk about. His Madonna is breaking every moment.
From bad to worse.
It doesn't stop. And this is her husband now, who's like, what are we going to do? My mentor, my patron is gone, all because of you, right? And then she angrily says, and she's like, how am I going to pay my debts? And then she angrily dumps all of these jewels that Fontenoy, the banker, had given her as sort of gifts of their affair, and she just dumps him. And this guy, he forgets his wife immediately. He's so happy. He's got the jewels, right?
Yeah.
He's got the money.
He's not a good person.
No, he's a sleazy guy. He's a really sleazy, skeezy guy. And it's perfection by this actor.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too, because when you first see him on screen, he is making a face, and he does it in such a way that's comedic, but also he's not a person that you hate outright because he's just malicious. He's just making some really poor choices and doesn't really care about his wife or other people, it seems like, because the next thing he says this, now see what you've done. I'm late for my tailor. So he's gonna go spend all that money on,
Not fine.
frivolously.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not paying bills. He's there, just using it to maintain a lifestyle, which is really disgusting. Well, Robledo comes back and he's like, "I'm out of here. I'm going to, Argentine or back to Argentine." She like basically almost throws herself at him,
Yeah,
like,
she's like, take me with you. Take me with
yeah.
you, right? Let me start over.
And yeah, I specifically got this screenshot because of the way she's kind of grabbing him is very aggressive. She's just like her body's pressed up against his arm. This is very intense for her to do. And so
Absolutely. Certainly in the time period was done. This is very sexually aggressive, and yeah, I remember think what the audience is in. The audience is thinking, dude, if I had Greta Garbo rapped on me like this, I would take her with me. What's wrong with you, right? And so
yes.
this guy's a stubborn mule. He's just a stubborn mule because his honor has been his ideal has been shattered.
Yeah.
He's seen, he's seen that her husband is using her.
Yeah.
He's heard this, right? And
Yeah.
yet he can't show her, like, he can't allow himself to believe that she might love him because she's now seen two different men that she's been playing around with. And it's he cannot allow himself to believe that she really loves him, which I actually do think she does. We'll talk about it over the course of the movie. I actually do believe
she I think she fell for him in the garden. She really did.
Real. And it was real, but because of her complicated life, and his now lost innocence of the Madonna, he just can't let himself believe this love is real.
Yeah. And it really meant a lot to him.
Which of course drives her crazy. This is a woman that can have any man, as we will see, right? And he's the only man that keeps rejecting her.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of the last movie that with Torrent, where she kept on going after this guy, was kept on basically rejecting her in certain terms.
Yeah.
He was a little bit more into it than this guy is.
Yeah, I mean, and he was just more about his mother wouldn't let him marry her, right?
Yeah.
More about social status. This guy is really about shattered ideal love.
Yeah, an idealistic love or a moral code.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I think she too is kind of like, oh, wait a minute, this guy is not like the other guys.
Yeah, but every other man would be like, I got this one, I'll take her with me. I got the prize everybody wants, right?
Yeah,
and it's driving her insane that he's not going along with it. Yeah.
And so we get a change of scenery suddenly. I'm like, wait a minute, what's this? We're going to Argentina, the Argentine, far from the artificial life of the old world, land of men and the work of men, the Argentine.
Yeah, this is very much they have this great sequence now showing this sort of like Argentina as this undeveloped country, which it was, right? And it was well into the 40s, it was still very undeveloped, right? And this was very much the last remnant of the Wild West kind of culture in the Americas.
Yes, I was really getting a Western vibe here, and I thought it was depicted very well. This sort of old villagey kind of flavor to it. The trip out there is incredible. The horses. This is, I was thinking, wow, are we in an Indiana Jones movie? What is happening here?
Inspired me to Indiana Jones. I mean, this is setting in motion stuff that's never been seen. Before.
Yes, it was fantastic to see. He's well loved by everybody on that wagon, and when he gets to his village, everybody loves him. He's
like a great benefactor. He's an engineer that has come there to build up a dam, right? So he's giving them all employment. He's taking this little village, and if the dam works, this will become a great city. A lot of economic boom. He's giving these people hope, right?
Yes.
So he's like the savior. He's the Wizard of Oz for them.
Yes, he really is, and he is pretty much the leader there. As soon as he gets there. There are some other men there. This is Cantarak.
So this is Lionel Barrymore.
Yes.
Mr. Potter. This is Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, and he's also Drew Barrymore's great uncle.
Great uncle, right? So the Barrymore family, right?
Yeah.
And he plays one of these men there's sort of like this inner circle of friends he has on this
Yes.
team of
Yeah.
workers.
Yes. His brother was John Barrymore. And yeah, he's great. Like I really loved his acting style in there in this, because it wasn't really, overdone either.
That's
It,
why
it was
he transitions into the talkies, right? He goes on
yeah.
to the Academy Award, I believe, 6 years later, 1931, right? So
Oh
in talkies.
wow.
So yeah,
Oh wow.
he and Greta are one of the very few people that transitioned into successful talkies, to the point that we remember him as Mr. Potter. Where it's Christmas time, everyone's watching It's a Wonderful Life right now. This is Mr. Potter.
Yes. Oh yes. So awesome. His character
He has a wife in Europe. Yeah, Europe.
in Europe, that he's sending money to, which is a really sweet story. And you can see how touched he is when he gets a letter from her. This is
He was the guy with a daughter. He's the guy with a daughter. He has a daughter.
He has a daughter. Yeah, he has a
Spain, overseas. Or Italy. I think he's to Italy. He's a teenage daughter in Italy. He's Italian, and he's sending money to her. And Robledo is, because he was in Europe, he's the mailman. He's bringing back mail for all of these people. That's also why he's popular, right? He's come because this is such an undeveloped place. He's gone to Europe. He's gotten mail for these people. There's no post office here, and so he's come across the sea with and there's these with mail and the photos of their loved ones.
Yes, and I believe he was also delivering money that they were working on and sending to their loved ones.
So he gave loved ones money. They've sent back letters.
Yes, and so first I'm watching this, I'm like, does this matter? It matters later on.
It matters a lot. First you're like, who are these extras? They're not extras.
Yeah, they matter. And so this is what they're working on.
I thought was beautifully. I mean, it's probably a miniature, right? But it's it looks very realistic.
Yes, it looks very good. There's lots.
Oh, this is one of my favorite moments. This is when the villain enters, and this is like straight out of Nosferatu, where you see Shadow first.
There's so many moments like this in this movie. The moment that Robledo goes to see the Marquis while he's at the door, there is that shadow moment where you see his shadow before he gets through the door. This was done excellently. I mean, it was played upon. You see his body language, and you're like, okay, who's this? And he walks in, and he's this guy.
He's such a perfect villain, and he's like this Argentine villain with a great name, Manos Duras, right? Manos Duras. He's like a local bandit, right? And very much black hat sort of guy. And I think he's played by Roy D'Arcy. Doesn't sound very Spanish name to me, right?
Roy D'Arcy, yeah.
Roy D'Arcy, right? So thank Roy D'Arcy. Yeah. So it's I think he's Italian, actually. I was looking him up. I think he's Italian origin. But he's such a perfect, like, literally mustache. In many ways, he's the archetypal of, like, the Penelope Peril kind of, mustache swirling. He might have invented it, right? He might have invented that image.
Yes. It's so great to see his acting. It's overdone.
Yeah.
But it is the perfect kind of acting.
Delicious. It's delicious.
Yes.
So here's the guy who has now become the bad boy, right?
Yes.
Who's lost his faith in the world, in the goodness of men and of women, and now he's just taking it out on the world.
Yes. Probably had a hard life, and
he probably had his heart broken.
Yes. Yeah, he's a bandit, so he comes and kind of disrupts things. He's been stealing the men to go over to his side to, I guess, steal and do all sorts of malicious things. And so they refer to him as a bandit. So I think that's what he is.
Well, and he's stealing. I mean, the men. What's great is that he's so charismatic. The men are leaving this like legitimate paying job to join his merry band of robbers.
Yes. And so we are giving our lives to this great work, and no man is big enough to stop it. So that is Robledo setting, drawing.
This is his life's purpose, is to build this dam.
Yes. And so I love the way he stands up to this bandit, sort of like, he's laying his putting his foot down and saying, don't mess with me. I will fight back.
Yeah, and there's the threats to each other's lives made here. Like, this guy is
Yes.
standing up to a bandit and saying, I'll kill you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like it gets juicy.
Now, what happens is our friend from the beginning has, because of the scandal in Paris, has left and come to Argentina to start over. And initially, Roberta is so happy to see him, and then is shocked to see that he's brought Elena, his wife, with her. Not
Yes.
shocked on a personal level because he doesn't want to deal with her because of his unresolved, complicated emotions for her.
Yes.
But also because this is the Wild West, the last remnant of it. There's no law and order here. There's no police. There's no government. Right? This is not a safe place for an elegant woman. All the women of this that are here in this camp, they're simple villagers, right?
Yes,
As they show the nanny who's got like dirty legs and feet and whatever. Because these are simple people of poverty and this is a woman coming here in elegant clothing. She's not going to survive this place.
He asked, like, why did you bring her? And she insisted on coming. So
because it was her jewelry. See, this is the thing. She has power over this guy because it's her jewelry, and and he's cashing in her jewelry. So she's like, if you're going to buy a ticket to Argentina with my jewelry, you're going to buy one for me too.
Okay.
So she has power over him, right?
Yeah, she does. I couldn't help but wonder if she just felt like, oh, if I could be there, I would,
Oh, of course. No, that's what she's there. She's there to hunt him down. Yeah, she's there to win him over.
She's hunting, yeah. And she's doing everything she can to get an opportunity for them to like be alone. And of course, she puts.
There. Look at her.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. And this is exactly the point where they're saying, hey, this is not exactly the right place for a European woman to be hanging out. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, this is all
the men will protect you, right? That's
yes. He's just not happy about.
Yeah.
He holds this facial expression for a long time.
I mean, his face is much of the movie at this point.
Yeah. Because she won't let up. She will not let up. She's always
he's gone. He's moved on with his life. We also saw that there's this woman in the village, this sort of that he's kind of romantic with. So there's chances for him to move on with his life. And now we see his housekeeper, who's sort of the Argentine peasant, right, with a cute little baby, and that's sort of the normal status of women in this camp, right? This is a work.
Yes.
And they're poor and dirty.
Yeah, they showed 3 other women when she was getting out of the cab, and they're like night and day. Like
the women were like, "Ooh, look at her!" Right? So
yeah, they were like, "What? What is that?" And of course, she comes in. And she's got like 10 bags or something. Everybody's carrying.
Yeah, she's got like all these porters bringing everything. Apparently, there was a shipwreck. We don't see it, but it's said in the play card that there was a shipwreck and that she demanded that all of her clothing be loaded off the ship. So wherever she goes, there's chaos. Like they come to Argentina, but they arrive on a shipwreck. I mean, the ship wrecked on the coast, right? And so wherever she goes, there's chaos.
Oh, man, yeah, you're so right.
It's really, what is this?
It's so hilarious because of the differences between the two. And like you said, I didn't take a clip of that, but they showed her feet, and she's not wearing shoes. And she's, dirty from head to toe. The baby.
Oh, this was a great moment. So again, they don't have any normal luxuries in this workers' camp. So they just have a distorted mirror, and she sees herself in this distorted mirror, and it horrifies her.
Yes, and even though we kind of talk about her image with the men that are after her for her body and her image, she too is really dependent on her.
Well, this is her own sense of identity, and this scene is very important because it establishes her narcissism. Because from this, she's so horrified by looking at the funny mirror, the funhouse mirror, that she grabs her like little handheld mirror, and then she sighs in relief to see she's still beautiful.
Yeah. There it is.
Like, okay, I'm still there. That's not.
Yeah. Oh, phew.
So this is not. I mean, it's easy. We could have like a feminist lens where she's just a victim of male gaze. She's a victim of her own gaze, right? This is a woman that owns this. She
knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and this is, in her mind, this is her power. And one could argue this is low self-esteem. She didn't go off and get a medical degree. She didn't go become, Marie Curie or whatever in France. She is relying on her looks, which is her
Yes.
character weakness.
Yes, yes, so true. I love that little bit is in there just to give you a little insight into her mind,
Yeah.
her mindset.
Because otherwise, then it's just a simplistic story. But now this is one of my favorite. This gown. Can you even imagine what this gown
It's
looks like in color?
insane. Yeah,
It's
it's like,
gold. I mean, it looks gold even in black and white.
yeah.
He comes down for dinner in this work camp where they're all dirty, dressed like this, and it's one of the most fabulous gowns in this movie.
Like, if I was there, I would be like, okay, where's the t-shirt and where's like the plainest thing I could find. She comes down in like the most exquisite party wear, and the guys there are going and
They're all,
nuts.
their mouths are down. They're like, oh, they don't know what to do, right? And again, she knows her power. She knows the power. We'll talk a little bit about it because I'm making a movie about young Marilyn Monroe. In many ways, Marilyn Monroe was born in 1926 when this movie comes out. She was about 6 months old when this movie, or maybe 4 months old when this movie came out. But in many ways, she becomes the Marilyn character that Norma Jean Dougherty created. The Marilyn Monroe is a character, but it's a character that's archetypal, and this is an archetype we're seeing here, where she knows the power she has over men. Marilyn knew the power she had over men, right?
Yes,
would come dressed to the nines at events specifically to have everyone stop talking, which is the power that Greta Garbo is doing here.
Yes, and she knew exactly what to wear and her assets and how to play things up. And those things are very important. I mean, especially with this character, she is. I mean, this is an example. It's a shadow of the actual footage that if you haven't seen this, you must, because
watching her walk down and how she reacts to being looked at. I mean, these stills don't capture it.
They don't, and she's just mesmerizing in this particular scene in particular, and she's looking at Robledo.
That's the other guys are going. She wants to seduce him.
And,
she doesn't care about any other man in that room.
Yeah, and they're all they're all crazy for her. They have they have other objectives, but that's all gone to the wayside because she's there, and she just has that effect on people. And the only person she doesn't have that effect on is
Robledo.
Robledo. He is paying attention to her though,
but more out of concern, because he's seeing that everyone is now distracted. This is a work camp, and he's the manager of the work camp. He's the head engineer, and already she's arrived here, and in one evening, no one is thinking about their jobs.
No, and then her husband doesn't care about her, so he's not interested.
He doesn't. His whole thing is, this is his asset, right? This is how he gets by in life, is that I have this beautiful wife, and that's how he gets money and things. That's how he gets his perks. So he's happy to have this.
Yes, he's, I guess, looking for the next person, John, for his wife.
Yeah. That's this guy, right? So.
Yeah. So he is looking at her with caution, looking at everybody, observing the situation, ascertaining the problem. This is her. Really.
Baby, if anyone saw that TV show Deadwood, imagine someone like this walking into like Swear Engine's, saloon. That's what the effect is.
Yeah, and look, just taking in consideration 1920s, this is super, super intense. All that skin.
Yeah, it's a very risky. Also, remember her hairstyles, Greta Garbo's hairstyles that she would do for these movies, would just became national trends, right? Like women started, women started doing like this little curl right after watching the movie. So
that's just everybody wants
a flapper look. In many ways, Greta Garbo invents, right? In many ways.
Oh yeah. She's just an icon. And so earlier in the day, Manos spotted her.
Yeah, so he saw her when she showed up. He saw her showed up and he sized her out. Oh, pretty girl, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, you know what? Let's get the band together and we're gonna sing to her.
See, this is a hilarious scene where basically the local bandit shows up at Robledo's house.
Yes.
And has his mariachis, and they start serenading her from outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible because I'm like, oh snap! What I didn't expect what did happen, but I was like, okay, well maybe she'll toss them a kiss or mess with them. They were all there. They're singing "Appear at the Window." Ay ay ay. Dove of my soul. Aye.
It's just pure serenading. It's like, it's old school Romeo and Juliet stuff, right? And again, this is the villain of the movie. It's great.
Yeah. See,
and so now Robledo says, get lost. Robledo says, get out of here. Get off my property. Right? Get out of here. Right? Leave this woman alone.
Yeah. So this is him saying, hey, just let her come to the window and smile at us.
Yeah.
That's all we want. But that's not true. But
there she is. And there she is at the window. And she's enjoying.
That was her choice. Yeah. That was her choice.
She's enjoying the attention. She's liking this.
Yeah.
If there's any, she likes the power she has over men. She doesn't like how things get out of control consistently, but she enjoys it in the moment.
Yes. I mean, because she didn't have to do this.
Wisely, she should stay inside. This guy's a bandit, right? There's no police here. There's 30 guys out there with more guns than the people inside the house, right?
Yes.
She should stay hidden.
And yet she plays. She comes down.
And Robledo's just horrified because now she's egging this on.
Yeah, which made no sense, but this is part of her personality.
Yeah, this is what she would do naturally. She loves the attention. She does.
Well, I'll say this. She does come out as a response to something because initially Robledo threw a knife at Manos.
Oh, yes. That's how Robledo gets angry when he sees that she's playing along with it in the window.
Yeah.
And he gets fed up and he throws a knife into the guitar of Manos, right?
And Manos pulls out a gun, and so she's like,
"You messing with the man's guitar, right?" And so it's like, it's like there, and so suddenly weapons are being removed.
Yes, and she walks out because of that. It just happens at the right time. Unfortunately, I don't know what she thought was going to happen, but he goes up there.
There's a lot of stolen kisses in this movie. Like from 2026 perspective, there's a lot of non-consensual kissing, right? Like but again, this is the villain. He just comes up and he grabs her and he kisses. He takes the kiss, right?
I'm like, where's the foreplay, man? You're just gonna go right for the kiss.
Well,
my God,
he's the bad guy, right? Again, his Madonna is gone, so now he's gonna treat her like the whore, right?
Yes, so true. And that gets Robledo.
That leads to a duel, right? And initially Robledo's like,
incredible.
So initially Robledo's like, all right, let's old school, let's have a duel, right? To end this, or duel for the lady's honor. And he's like, do you want guns or knives? And he says, no, we're gonna do the Argentine. You're like, what the hell is the Argentine, right? And then they make the circle in the sand, and you're like, what's gonna happen now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they have this incredible whip fight. And
which you can never imagine, right?
Yeah. Well, the only other whip fight I ever saw was from 1980s Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon, and then Indiana Jones as well uses whips, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought that that was this scene right here was going to be the scene where Indiana Jones pulls out his gun and just shoots the guy. Sure. I was like, oh, this is the scene we missed from that.
Yeah, but this is a scene that we wanted to see in Indiana Jones, right?
Yes.
Apparently he was sick that day, so he said, I want to improvise and I'll just shoot the guy. I got a gun, right? But but again, Indiana Jones wasn't fighting for honor. He was just trying to get through the day, right?
Yes.
And this guy, now even the villain has an honor. So this is the actual dual ritual of the Argentine outback, right? Where they stand in a circle and they whip each other, and whoever falls out of the circle loses the duel.
Yes. Now I tried to get a really good. This is the best I could get, but they're moving so fast.
Yeah.
But to see it, if in as it plays, is one incredible scene. I was just like,
it's really brutal. I mean, they're hitting each other in the face and eyes with the whips, and they're bleeding. It's really brutal.
Yes, it's really brutal, but it's also like, well, I'd never seen anything like it.
It's like a dance.
Yeah, very interesting, very athletic. And
there's a great moment where they take their shirts off to do it, and they cut to her, and she's kind of like lusting after this, like she's loving that the men are fighting for her, and then their bodies and their muscles. These are handsome actors.
Yeah, there she is.
She's turned on by all these shirtless men fighting for her.
That was my next card. Was her like going, ooh.
She's like really aroused by this. It's very, again, there's no sugarcoating her personality.
Yeah, which is there's moments where she's like that, or she's afraid that somebody's going to get hurt, mostly Robledo, but this is all you know, she, you know,
And we
he
got our
wins.
shirtless dude here. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he wins this
He actually
this
beats.
battle.
He actually beats the guy. The guy crawls out in pain, and
Yeah,
then she brings him in to try to heal him. But he's like,
yeah,
"Leave him alone."
yeah. It works for about a few moments until she starts talking, and he's like, "No, shh, out of here." But look at those scars. That looks pretty good for 1920.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. And she says, "You try to hate me, Robledo, but you fought for me." And this is where we get sort of her mindset that he was fighting for her in particular,
Mhm.
and not that if any woman had been in her shoes, he would have fought for.
Yeah, she's a solipsistic character. Everything's about her.
Yeah, yeah. So she's internalizing this action as a romantic gesture, and he's like, "No, I'm fighting for my turf." You know,
He's
there
fighting
I
for the
had
camp.
that.
He says, "I'm fighting
Yeah,
for dominance." Essentially, he's like, "If I let this guy win, this guy's going to take over the town."
easily, yes. He's already been doing little infractions and is growing his influence over the people. And so all he needs is to lose a fight, and that's it. That was sort of another great moment of understanding where she was at mentally and where he was at mentally.
But but the truth is, he also did fight for her. She
He
wasn't
did, yeah.
wrong, but he can't admit that.
No, he can't.
So
He
as they
does.
argue, we've got the angry, defeated bandit, right?
Outside the window.
He's watching them. He's like, he can't believe this guy got the better of him in front of his men, right? Which is really
Yes.
bad. And so he's out there watching them from the window.
Yes. And he has just pushed her away. And who's coming down the stairs but her husband,
And
the
at that
Marquis.
moment, he decides, Manos decides he's going to take a shot, avenge his humiliation, take a shot at Robledo through the window.
Yes, and accidentally kills the husband.
Yeah, the husband walks into the bullet. He blocks the bullet accidentally. And so her husband takes the bullet that was meant for Robledo.
Yes, and this is one of those moments where I was like, oh well, this changes the game. She's got to go back home.
Yeah, because now she's alone. She doesn't have her husband in a lawless camp.
Yeah,
right?
which this is their first night, and they're already
She's dead on night one.
I mean,
so in many ways, she's a lot like the character of Scarlett O'Hara, right? Which the novel's going to come out, I think, just a few years after this, and then like essentially 12 years after this, the film gets made, right? But Scarlett O'Hara, she marries multiple men to use them, and they all die. She keeps getting them killed, right? Except for Red Butler, right? I mean, it's an archetypal thing where she's just, her men just keep dying. Her husband's keep dying, right?
So it's not too long after before these guys start making their move on the widow. And Robledo has to come in and say, "Hey guys, you guys shouldn't be." And they're fighting against each other. They're actually,
they're both men with families overseas,
and they're friends.
Yeah, and they're friends. Yeah.
And so Robledo's like, "Oh, don't forget about your wife, and don't forget about your little girl." It's kind of like, what you sense something's happening.
And these are the foremen. So now the foremen are fighting each other. So now who's managing this camp?
Yeah. It's getting the stakes are getting higher. But there was a man that just died. Yeah. So I don't know how they could make their move, but they're too.
Well, that's her power, right? The moment the competitors out of the picture, they're all and I love this play card. God makes men and women makes fools, right?
Yes. So
and
crazy.
as a man, again, it is our responsibility as well as that we play this game, right?
Yeah.
Men humiliate themselves in pursuing women. I've done it, right? So ultimately, I was responsible for my own humiliation, right? I chose to degrade myself in silly situations with women, like all men do at some point.
Yeah, and vice versa with women. They, we've been in relationships where you're like, well, why am I doing this? And where's my common sense? And then that's love, I guess. Would say.
Well, that's that. I mean, again, it's a word, right? It's certainly passion. It's attraction. whether it's love or not, which is, I think, one of the questions of this film. What kind of love, right? I think,
yeah,
and we'll get to the end of the movie, which asks that question: what is love, right? But it's but it's definitely, her power is magnetism, passion, sexual fantasy. That's the power she has, right? And the men are participating in this, all except Robledo.
Yes, and
who loves her, and he hates the fact that he loves her.
Yes, he does love her. There's something, he just pushes it away because of
because he sees the chaos.
Yeah,
and he's
his eyes are open.
I mean, he's witnessed the chaos that she's causing. I mean, now there's 2 men dead. Her old lover, 2 men that he's witnessed die in front of his eyes because of this woman, right? And his friends are fighting, and now he's got a bandit chasing her. I mean, he's witnessing this pure chaos. So she has some sense of, I don't want to be swept away by the chaos.
Yes, I mean, she's a walking bulldozer, just taking down people.
Yeah, and again, use the archetype of Marilyn Monroe. She was that, right? After she left her first husband, Jimmy Dowd, who in many ways I think is like Robledo, right? My whole movie's about that marriage, right? About the one decent man that she was with, her first husband, and then she left him for stardom. And then the moment she left him, not only was her life chaos, she spread chaos everywhere. Every relationship was chaos, both for her and for the other people, right? Yeah. And so, it's when that is unleashed, and Greta's character, Elena, is unleashed. Now, here we have a scene where he's struggling with all of this, and then we have this lovely woman that we've seen, the local camp woman that is very attractive to him.
She's so cute. Yeah, and she likes him a lot, but she's gentle, and
she's very aware. She's aware that everything's happening because of this new arrival.
Yes.
But she doesn't fault him. She says, everyone is unhappy since she's come, and she's unhappy and you're unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's very perceptive. Again, the Madonna, right? The nurturing mother has come, the mothering Madonna who understands his pain and doesn't judge it.
Yeah. And I love that they just have that little relationship, but they don't resolve it or fix it or anything. Yeah. It's just there.
It's just a dynamic. And now here she is with one of her majestic gowns.
Look at her. And
you're out in the desert wearing this. Imagine basically out like the desert of Saudi Arabia wearing this in the middle of the desert. That's what she's wearing.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm gonna glam it up. My husband just died. I'm wearing black.
Yeah, what do you want? I'm mourning.
A black gown.
I'm mourning. It's just the costuming is so magical here. So.
Oh, it is, and he's come there with the intention of having her leave.
Yeah, he's like bought her a ticket. He's like, get out of here.
Get out.
You need to go. No longer. Yeah, and it's not safe for you, right? He's putting it in the terms of, this place isn't safe for you, and he's not wrong. It's not safe. There's no security here. There's a bandit with an army. The only security she has is the few people with guns, and they're all pointing the guns at each other now because of her. So, and this is just not safe.
Yeah. I love his stance here, of how he's trying to be firm, and she's of course trying to break that. And she's, doing everything she can, and you can see her eyes shift and like trying to come up with something to.
It's all pure seduction that's failing, and she doesn't know what to do with a man that doesn't work on.
Yes, and he, like I said before, his eyes are open to all of her tricks, even though he does have those feelings for her. He's got a bigger fire and passion for all the people that he's responsible for, all of the things that he's working on. And we get to see that later, how passionate he is about his project. But she just doesn't care about that. She only cares about herself and the love that she has for him. And it's a real love. But it is
technically they're free to be together now. The husband's gone.
Yes, he's like, I don't. Yes.
We're away from Paris. Nobody cares. We're out here.
Yeah, she's free game.
And again, this is the thing. You just said it, Retro, is that he's actually here on a mission, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to, and he already seeing, if she wasn't disrupting everything, he probably would be with her. But she's spreading chaos in his workforce, and now he's got the bandit even more galvanized to ruin his efforts. So his life's work is being destroyed as long as she's there. Even if he loves her, he's like, you're ruining everything.
Yeah. And she's not helping. She's not helping. She's not helping. So that's the other thing. Like if she was actually helping, was part of this whole thing, and not glamour pussing it up everywhere, like it would be.
She's working it, and it's making it worse.
Yeah. So he just tells her that she has to go back to Paris, and
There she is working it, trying to seduce him.
Yeah, it's to see this again in action is pretty astounding. You're like, fall for her. She's beautiful.
Yeah, because you're watching it, and like you're like this. I wouldn't be able to resist. So this dude's got more strength than I do.
Yes, he's very very morally centered, or once he gets an idea in his head, he's very stubborn.
He's stubborn. He's a stubborn guy.
Stubborn is
which is actually good for her, because she's never had any. You can tell this is a woman that has no stability. Her life has always been chaos, and here's one eye of the storm she's ever met. That's why she's clinging. There's only one guy in her entire life. Only one thing that's never changed is this guy.
Yeah. And I just love this moment. I had to capture it of her just wrapping herself around a bed, like.
And he's just standing like still, like a robot.
Yeah.
It's back, he won't touch her.
The perfect body language to describe what is going on in his mind, and what trying to resist her.
And look at the way she is. Her head is down. It's like she's pulling him down to hell. Like she's pulling him down. You see that? She's pulling him down. That's the idea.
Yeah, come down with me. Oh wow, I didn't even see that, but yes, you're so right. And also the contortion in her body is just incredible. He firmly says no. Yeah, men from the dam to make a fiesta for the Marquis. Men, what are men for if not to amuse a woman? So,
I just love these little philosophical asides of this movie that are just there. Yes. This is the mindset. This is certainly the mindset of women like her, who it's a defense mechanism mindset, right? If she's not able to believe in love, then you have to degrade the man and just say he's my plaything, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you open yourself up to, I can't, nobody loves me. So, so you have to. Yeah.
Oh. And so the Cantarac, played by Lionel Barrymore, throws this huge party. I didn't know he had this kind of influence, but he throws this huge.
Yeah, he's got like a military uniform, so maybe he's like a military guy. We never seen that uniform before, but he's wearing a military uniform. He's got like a sword, and so. But this is again one of these grand spectacle set pieces of this film, right? The dance sequence. And it's local Argentine village dance. It's incredible. Thousands of extras.
Oh yeah. And they are partying. I mean, I'm like, I want to go to this party. It's really great. And a lot of the people, I love the fact that a lot of them had, like, they were barefoot. They were just enjoying themselves and having a ball.
What it is it's an archetype of that would be used later in Titanic, in that scene where she goes down to the lower levels, the lower decks, right? And she dances barefoot with all the lower deck Irish people, right? That weren't the people that are all going to drown because they're not upper deck people, right? But that's that thing where Rose is down there slumming it and dancing with her shoes off.
Yeah, this is really cool. He's trying to figure out what's going on. Where are all the men? And where they're still building the dam, into the night. Where's everybody? Well, they're all at this party, and this party
and the party's being done for her, not the Mark. Martin's dead, right? That dude's gone. Party's being done for her, right? And so he's like, they're throwing a party in the middle of our work. We're almost done with the dam, right? And now they're throwing a party for her.
Yeah, he is not happy. It's really crazy because her husband just died.
Yeah.
So they're just moving in so fast, but Cantarac makes his move.
He takes her aside, and he professes his sudden love for her, right? And that, he'll do anything for her. He will die for her. All this stuff, right? And she's heard this speech 1,000 times, right? So she knows how to deal with a guy like this, but it doesn't quite go the way she's expecting.
Yeah, because he goes in for a kiss. Boy, I was like, oh gosh. And then this guy shows up.
Yeah, this guy's the guy with his friend with a teenage daughter, right?
Yeah.
Who's also lusting after her, and he sees you're macking on my gal that's in his imagination, his gal, right?
Yes. And it gets violent. He pulls out a knife, and they're just going at it. Cantorac pulls out his sword and kills him.
Yeah, he stabs him. He stabs him. And this is his friend. This is his best friend.
Yeah.
And, and to Greta's credit in this scene, to the character's credit of Elena, I mean, she doesn't want a duel. Like, she enjoyed the whip fight or whatever until it started getting real, right? Here, it's like life and death. She's actually not. She's pretty horrified. She doesn't care about either of these men. They actually have no value to her. These are just random dudes in the camp, right? They have no value to her. Because if they and they are fighting to the death over her, and she's utterly horrified. She's trying to run away from the situation.
Yeah, she runs away, and Robledo comes and sees this, and it's so heartbreaking because you can see that Cantorac is instant regret for what he just did. And then they show you
him the picture of his daughter that he's never going to see again because you killed her father.
So it was heartbreaking, and I was like, oh man.
And it was covered in blood. I think it's the blood of the father.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh. I wonder if they used ketchup for that. And then we get this scene where we kind of get this like knock out, drag out kind of fight. They finally like really do like.
He's like, my friends are killing each other over this.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's working on this project, and now people are dying left and right because of you. Now there are 3 people dead that I know because of you.
Yeah. And tonight a man killed his friend, and another life upon your soul.
And she defends herself, and she's not totally wrong in her defense.
Wow.
Yeah, and she says, not for me. They didn't die for me. I'm just a projection. Just wanted my body, right? They don't care about my happiness, but for theirs. I mean, she's just an imaginary character in their minds, like the masked woman at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
she's not wrong in saying this.
No, she isn't wrong. I would say she's wrong in thinking that she is not at all at fault.
Well, she certainly is a catalyst, and a willing catalyst towards inflaming people's passions. She enjoys that. She doesn't like the consequences of that.
She's the gasoline.
Yeah, and she enjoys the flame. She doesn't enjoy when it burns out of control.
Ooh, yes, and so as long as she can control it.
Yeah, but she's never been able to. That's the tragedy of this person, is that she's like an autopilot, right? She's on auto seductive pilot, thinking this time she's going to control it. And it never works. Every time it leads to somebody dying. Every single time.
Yeah, which is the tragedy of it, because you know that she doesn't mean for people to die. But that's what happens. And so
and she can't stop it. She's literally like on autopilot with this.
Yeah. So it was kind of sad to hear her say that. I was like, oh no, she doesn't take any responsibility for this. And he gets really mad at it too.
And now we've got this thing. Our villain, Manos Duras, he's like setting up dynamite on the dam while they're all dealing with this drama. They don't even see this because nobody's there.
Yeah, nobody's there. And so he blows the dam up. But
good special effect. It was very effective.
Very. I was trying to get the right picture. Couldn't really capture it beautifully, but it's about the best.
You see all the little fragments and whatever. Yeah. They blew up the bottle, but it looked real.
It looked so good, and the water too. All that was so well done, and we have all these scenes, which between this moment here and the next is a lot of things happen, but. Robledo leaves her, and she goes back to where she was staying, and he is fighting tooth and nail for whoever's left to help him try to keep the dam.
Plug the leaks here, because this whole dam's going to collapse if the water rages through, right? There's a hole in it. The whole thing hasn't fallen yet. There's a hole, and water's raging through, and it's going to wear down the rest of the structure, and it's going to collapse. So the work they've been doing probably over a couple of years, however long it's been, is going to destroy it. And by the way, I don't know if you have a sequence. I don't think you may. I don't know if it happens right after this moment or shortly. She goes back home or to Robledo's house, and there's a message in a daggered into the door. it's a message that there was a message. If you remember, there was a
yes.
letter, a dagger stuck on the door with a piece of paper, and she pulls it, and the paper is from Manos Duras, the villain, and he basically says that since I couldn't get your attention with my whip fight last night, maybe this will get your attention. So he blew up the bridge for her. I blew up the dam for her. He didn't do it because he didn't do it because he had any agenda against a dam. He just wanted to impress her. So she's now destroyed this guy's life's work.
Wow,
she's endangered the whole village as the flood comes in.
Yeah. And imagine how many people worked on that, and some people may have even passed on because of while working on it. Yeah. So it's just so much that she's causing, so much trouble that she's causing, including this. And so he's fighting with the villagers, and they still though see him as a hero because the hard work he's putting in to make sure that dam doesn't fully blow open. Unfortunately, it does.
Yeah, what happens is the weather starts getting worse. Now a storm comes in.
Yeah,
and then the water starts rising, so it starts flooding, and people start panicking, and some people start running away. He actually shoots a man. He shoots a man. Says if anyone runs from their position, I'll shoot them, right? And he does. He shoots one of the workers who's like trying to get everyone to quit. That's how much he cares about this thing, is that he kills a man in order to get, but even then, that doesn't, when the flood starts, it doesn't matter. His gun doesn't matter anymore. People are gonna, he's got 6 bullets and there's a flood coming. So they'll take their chances.
Yeah.
And they start running.
And he's the last person to, they're putting up bags to try to stop this. It just doesn't work. He gets swept away.
He's the last guy there, and he's swept away in the flood.
Yeah, and the villagers save him. And God, if there is a God, this woman shall destroy no one else. So
this is him swearing. This is Robledo's oath now.
So this scene, he leaves the villagers, and I wasn't able to get it. But
he's walking with his muddy boots. They keep focusing on his muddy boots, right?
And he's walking up the stairs.
Yeah, it's very like horror film. It's like the Friday, Halloween. It's the killer's coming because he's sworn to kill her now.
And she knows it because she read the note, and so
and she's seeing the dam collapse. She saw it. She knows. She knows this. She's ruined this guy's life.
Yeah, and and every step he takes, she's like. She's like freaking out.
She hides. I mean, she could have run away from the house. She knew this woman is coming, right? But she stayed there.
She stayed there,
ready for this, ready for him to kill her.
I think at that point she was starting to grow a conscience. Like she was starting to feel something.
Well, because you know why? It's because everyone else, she didn't care about the other people who died. She didn't care about them, right?
Ooh.
She'd ruined his thing. She knew he loved this thing. This was his soul's work, and she ruined that. Now she feels bad for it.
Yeah. She's finally began to have a conscience, and his face.
Because he loves her, but he's sworn to kill her because she's going to kill everyone. She's going to get everyone killed if she stays on.
Yeah, it's so crazy, the look on his face. And they zero in on his hands.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's so wonderful.
He's gonna,
just wonderful. He walks slowly over to her.
It is, and then he grabs her and starts choking her. And notice she doesn't resist him at all. She doesn't fight back. No. She doesn't try to save herself. She surrenders to him choking her.
Yeah, I think at this point she's like, whatever, she surrenders. Yeah,
so do it. I deserve it. Yeah, but he can't.
Yeah, it was such a. It was a beautiful moment in the way it was performed and the way it was depicted on screen. So well done. You could feel the rage, and then you could feel the turmoil. This is like raising his hands, like, oh my God,
he hates himself that he can't kill her. He hates himself.
I love you, but I hate you. Oh gosh.
And then and this is the turn of the movie or of his character. He surrenders. He's lost everything. He's lost his life's work. The dam's been destroyed. He has nothing left. But now he's like, all right, then my purpose in life is going to be you, right? I love you. I can't, let's run away together Forget about everything. I don't want to do anything. And so now let me get back to my philosophizing about male-female dynamic, right? So again, this is my perception as a man. You can contradict me. This is my perception, right?
Oh, sure.
Ultimately, I believe no woman really wants to be the number one driving thing in a man's life. A woman respects a man that has a purpose in life, that's not just her, that's trying to do something for the world, that's trying to, she sees that as the masculine force, and she can love that and want to be part of that, and want to be that man's partner and bear his children, all that, right? And want to be loved by him, but she won't respect him if he puts her above his life's purpose, right? And he's now given, she's destroyed his life's purpose, and he sees no further future, so he just wants to surrender to her. And look at him, completely like a child, the Madonna.
The face,
like a baby.
Yeah.
And look at her. She's gazing. She's not looking at him. She's gazing into the future of who he's going to be if he actually gives up his dreams for her.
Ooh,
See that look on her face? She's not looking at him. She's looking at his future. And does she want that for him?
Oh, and because she truly loves him.
She truly loves him. She admires the fact that he's the only guy who's had a purpose, or he kept to his purpose. Like, look, the banker guy ruined his life. Her stupid husband got himself shot. These guys who had families that they were working to help their families, killed each other over her. None of them stayed true to their purpose. He did.
Yeah. He was the strongest of them all.
Which is why the title, Temptress. She's tempting men away from their purpose, and they're all failing the test. She's sent as a test by God. It's like Eve. She's been sent as a test by God. Will you stay to your purpose, or will you give into the easier path, which is her beauty, right?
Okay.
And he's the only one that hasn't fallen into temptation. Even now, he's not fallen to temptation. He's defeated.
Yes. He's defeated.
He has nothing else to live for, so he's going to live for her now.
Yeah. He didn't give it up. It was destroyed.
Taken from him. It was taken from him. And so he's got nothing else. So he's like, all right, you've won. He says, you've won. You've won. You've beaten me. You've beaten me, right? You've won. Yeah. So I'm just going to give my life to you now. And that's not what she wants for him, because she admires a man who never swerved from his purpose, ever.
Yeah. That's what she liked about him.
Mm-hmm. I wish I knew that in college. My romantic a little differently had I understood that. Nobody, there's no instruction manual for being a man or a woman. Actually, I think women, maybe your mothers and sisters will tell you a little bit about life. Men don't have nobody telling us anything. Our fathers don't tell us anything. All these lies about human nature and men, and we learn all this through pain, right? We got we're literally told lies about what men and women are, and we, like I said, the madonna-whore. It comes from being told a lie about what romantic love is, and so men have no instruction manual at all, right? Except suffering.
Yeah, I think even when you do have the instruction manual, you must live life and figure. Yeah,
it's the Wizard of Oz. Just because you're told you can go home by clicking your heels 3 times, you're not going to even try it. You have to experience. You have to first of all need to know that there's no place like home, and you won't even try it until you've been through the adventure to learn there's no place like home.
Yes.
Even if you're told, like I've tried to tell my nephews the truth about men and women. And I'll listen to anything I'm saying. They're going to figure it all out themselves. I'll see the word I'm saying. Yeah.
And I don't think I listened to anybody who's told me anything either. But it's just that, if I could just say about this, what a woman expects from a man, it really is like depends on a woman. But also, I think there are things where you say, people will say, well, I really do want, the person I want to be with to totally be obsessed with me, and only I would be their desire.
Center of purpose, yeah.
But it's not true. It's not true at all.
Well, people say that until they experience it, right? Then they're like,
yeah.
You're just sitting around writing love notes to me. Go out and get a job. Go do something with your life. I mean, no woman respects a dude just sitting around. I love you, baby. I love you. She may say she wants that until she gets it.
Yeah. And I think it's the idea that that you're going somewhere, and going somewhere together. Yeah. Like
it's are you stagnating or are you growing? And that's it. And so here, again, he was growing the whole time until she destroyed it, and now
Yes.
doesn't see a future beyond this moment, but
Yeah.
she does. That's what this screenshot really captures.
Yes, I love it. I love it. What a great convo we're having here. You can't give
See,
up
look,
your
she
work.
says it.
I won't let you be beaten, even by me. I love you too much. And I was
See,
like,
the play card from 1926 just summarizes what we said.
yeah, it's so great. Just seeing her kind of come to a realization. I thought for sure that she was gonna be like, "Oh, this is great. Now we can have a relationship. This is I got what I wanted," and she really does love him. She doesn't want this for him. She wants
Yeah.
him to have the life he
And
really
again, that's
wants.
the point of true love. It's the idea of sacrificing. It's the it's the gift of the Magi short story, which is the
Yeah.
beautiful thing where each one sacrifices what matters most to them to give the other one a Christmas present that only works with the
Yes.
thing that they had, right? And
Yeah.
so, but it's the point of sacrificing what you love for the other.
Yeah, it was a great moment. I almost teared up. Dear God, why can't you give me back the past to do better with? So we're getting regret as well. We're getting some kind of
Some
admission that
self-awareness now and recognition
something,
of
yeah,
chaos.
which was really the part that I was really the most disappointed when they had their conversation and she's like, "Well, it's not my fault." And it's like, well, we know those guys were jerks, but come on, you
It
know,
takes two to tango. I mean, it takes two to tango,
yeah,
right? So
yes,
I mean, yeah.
and so
I mean, you
we,
could have showed up, and you should have showed up at that work camp with a burqa on if you really didn't want anyone
oh,
taking a look at you, right? You came in full glory, desiring to excite people's attention.
I know, or ask one of the local ladies, hey, yeah, I'll give you one of my
Can you
dresses
bump
if,
me down to like local stuff? Yeah.
yeah, that's more, uh, that's what I would have probably
Yeah,
done
I
to
mean
try to
again,
look,
it's all about it's all about intention, and her intention has always been to awaken
yes,
desire in others. That's how she feels safe.
yes,
That's how she
yes,
feels safe. It is her intention to be looked at, right? The same
ah,
like Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's intention was to be desired and then resented when she was desired. It's like, okay, but that's your entire life has been to be desired, right? You don't
yes,
feel safe unless everyone is lusting after you. And
ugh,
then you're like, well, nobody respects me. I was like,
yeah,
yes, because her tragedy, just like the tragedy of Jane Mansfield, there's this wonderful documentary right now about Jane Mansfield from her daughter,
oh,
Hargitay. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix.
yeah,
It's
okay,
incredible documentary. It's one of the best I've ever seen by Mariska Hargitay, looking at Jane
ah,
Mansfield, her mother, who she was. You never realize, but she was in the car crash that killed her mother as a little baby, right? She has no
yeah,
memory of it, but she's been disassociated with her mother because she was so embarrassed by her mother being a sex object willingly, right?
oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
she was
yeah,
so embarrassed, and then now she rediscovers her mother and discovers all these secrets of their family that were never revealed before when she rediscovers it. But again, Jane Mansfield, Marilyn Monroe, these are women that were incredibly smart, intelligent women.
mhm.
Jane Mansfield actually was a master musician, which we did,
I heard,
and
I
she was a
saw her with
she was a
a
pianist and a
violin.
violinist. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Marilyn was she was very she didn't really have an education, but she was very intellectual, very well read, and she always both of them resent that everyone just wants me to be a hot woman. It's like, but that's all you ever show anybody because
Yes.
you're afraid of that if you're just being the nerd, retro nerd girl. If you just embrace nerdiness, if you embrace your nerdiness, no one's going to.
Yeah.
So you've got to be sex pot all the time. That's your
Yeah.
choice. That's your choice. And that's
Yeah.
her choice in this movie. She doesn't dial it back ever because she's afraid to not be at 100% glamour.
It's part of her identity. It's
Yeah.
woven itself into
Her
her
self-esteem is that,
identity.
which is
Even
what the
though,
mirror scene reveals.
yeah, even though she resents it,
But
so great.
again, the mirror scene revealed it. This isn't, you can't claim you don't want this when you're looking at the mirror like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
then
here's
this
this great,
guy.
the woman born to rule the world.
Yeah, and I love that they put a little art on the with these cards as well.
Yeah.
Uh
But again,
throughout the film.
I'm gonna well, I do think women rule the world in a very through the power of social connection, right? I do believe that. I believe men have no motivation to do
Oh,
anything in
social.
life. Yeah, men have no motive. Our male programming is we have no desire to do anything. I wake up, eat a banana, sit around, scratch your butt, watch the sunrise, watch the sunset, go back to sleep. We have no desire to do anything. It is the desire to win a woman that makes us do everything we do as a man, right? Elvis didn't want to be a musician. He wanted girls, and he became a musician, right? And so that's how we're programmed. And so women's purpose, in my view, is they're catalysts to force men to become masculine and not be the Madonna. That's where the Madonna thing has to break, because the Madonna is the mother. The man has to stop being a baby in the crib. And so if she's constantly mothering him, she can't be that. So she's got to hurt him. And then he calls her a whore, right? But it's the catalyst that forces him now to grow and not just be a baby who needs his mommy, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the way she's him right in that scene is a baby. It's like the Madonna moment. He's surrendered. He's given up. His goals are over. So he's just gonna cling to his mommy, the Madonna, right? And women.
You're so right. You're so right. It does look like he's like a little baby clinging to his mom. Oh.
Yeah, and here's this painful moment where he's asleep, recovering from his traumatic evening, and she's leaving.
Yeah,
she's leaving him while he sleeps, and she leaves a note for him that she just has to go on.
Yes, this is it.
To love me would destroy you.
Yes,
it has always been so. It is my legacy from God or the devil. Right.
Yeah, just so the writing here is just so good.
By the way, it was a woman. I mean, they didn't really have a screenplay, but it was a woman that it was credited as the storyteller of this. There were a lot of female screenwriters, both in the silent era and early Hollywood. It was a lot of those were women. It wasn't, male screenwriters were a little bit almost a minority in some.
I was familiar that a lot of women were editors.
But if you look at the screenplays, a lot of the screenplays were women, or in this case, they weren't screenplays, but they were called scenarios. Like they would lay out the essential story structure, probably wrote these play cards, right? So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I got work to do. I got homework. And it says here, it was 6 years before Robledo left the Argentina again. This time his work would stand.
So she's gone. So now there's no more chaos. And he has to start over from scratch, but now he builds this beautiful dam and it works.
Yeah. So good. I was like, yeah, the dam is built, and he shows up in Paris with
the woman in the village who's now his fiance.
Yes, fiance. And they look great.
Yeah. And now he's a hero. He's like, this conquering hero that brought civilization to Argentina, right? And there were a lot of French investors in that project. That's why he's probably in France, right? And so a lot of people made money on it.
The movie didn't say, but I'm sure he's also sending money to Cantorac's wife.
Yeah, the family members.
The family members and all that, still taking care of them, because he's that kind of a moral, upstanding kind of guy.
Of course he would do that.
And then
and so as he's at this welcome ceremony and photos are being taken, he's about to get in the stage coach with his fiance, and he sees a woman in the crowd, and we see it's Elena, but she's completely broken at this time in her life.
Yes. Now this is very interesting because this is the same actress.
Yeah.
They didn't really put on a whole lot of different makeup
on
her.
This is just look at her face. Her face and her body language is transformed.
Yes. Like, that's incredible. There is some makeup play, but not a lot to say.
No, this is all Greta's genius.
So good. And it's very despondent, but she kind of is looking at them like they're all strangers. She knows these guys.
She's just standing in a crowd, but she's like dazed out, phased out, not really there.
Yes.
And he recognizes her and he chases after her.
He finds her at a bistro, and she's just outside, drinking. He gets her.
She says she doesn't recognize him. He's like, "Don't you remember me?" And again, she says, "I don't know if that's true." The movie leaves that unclear. She says she doesn't recognize him. She says there's so many men, and this is a stage in her life where she's like, again, the last year of Marilyn Monroe, right? Where it's all, you got everything you want, it's all broken now, right? And so she's obviously an alcoholic. She's been used and run through. She's like, it looks like she's broke, right? So her money, whatever money she had. And she's obviously made her money throughout her life with her beauty. So that's not working anymore. right?
Yeah.
She's aged
Yeah.
out of whatever her ability to seduce men for money has worked. It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. It's really sad because he still kind of has like a spark for her.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
he's
he
so
doesn't.
heartbroken to see what she's become.
Yeah. You see the disappointment on his face. Is she heartbroken because of what happened between them or just her life in general? So that's like the time in the 6 years. What happened to her that she just so heartbroken
I mean, look, she
by
went back without a husband, without a lot of money. She probably burned through
mm,
her jewels. Most of them, we see there's one jewel left. And, it's, my instinct is she probably became a prostitute. That's kind of implied, right? And that's how she survived in the 20s in this situation. And that's not a great life. And she didn't nail down the big wealthy guy that was going to take care of her. And so she spiraled down into alcohol addiction and depression and all these other things.
oh, so depressing. And he leaves, I think he leaves something with her, but she's so
Yeah, he
sh
leaves some money. He leaves some money for her, like in her
yeah.
in her purse, right?
She doesn't even take it, I don't think, because she doesn't even it
Just
doesn't
she's not aware
seem
of it. She doesn't think about it. Yeah,
yeah, look at her.
she
She's
just wants her.
just
She just wants her Hennessy's, whatever. So.
yeah. Look at that bottle. And so well,
Well, there's this
there's a
amazing moment where she sees basically a hobo or a homeless man,
and she
at
thinks
the table, and she
it's
thinks he's Jesus because he's got a deep
yeah.
beard, and so she projects onto him like this halo, and she's talking to Jesus, and because that's one of the themes throughout this movie. She does have faith in God. She does have faith in God,
Oh,
which is
yeah, yeah.
the one tether she's got to her soul, right? And then she
Mhm.
basically, says to Jesus, and from her religious viewpoint, you died for love of mankind, so you understand what it is to die for love. And she's essentially saying, I've died for love. Because had she, and that's why I don't know that she didn't recognize him, because she
Yeah.
says, by saying I died for love, she obviously remembers that there could have been a life where she went off with this guy. I mean,
Yeah.
had she gone off with this guy, he's like a resourceful guy. He would have left Argentina. He would have probably gotten a job somewhere back in Europe, maybe back in Paris, right? He would have been a good provider for her. She
Mhm,
wouldn't have
mhm.
ended up, this broken woman alone with her alcohol. She would have,
Yeah.
but she knew that she would ruin his life. So
Yeah.
she chose this and let him have the happy life instead.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so wild because you wonder if if it would have worked. And
And again, it's
she's
one of those what ifs, right?
yeah, it is a what if. She made a sacrifice, and it looks like it worked on one
Well,
level.
well,
He's
it
he's
worked
doing
for him.
well. He's
The
yeah.
truth is, unless she had some kind of radical change in her behavior,
Hmm,
she would have gone down. She would have been a catalyst for more destruction, and she
yeah.
obviously has been in the time she's been without him, to the point that
And
she's ruined her own life. So she
yeah.
would have catalyzed his destruction. She wasn't wrong.
Yeah, and that guy Manos was after her
Yeah.
so desperately, so I wonder what happened to him too.
She gives him her last jewel, which
Oh,
is the
yes.
homeless man. She gives him a ruby ring, and I don't
Yeah.
recall if that ruby ring had significance. I was trying to remember, did that ruby ring? I don't think we've really noticed it before. I don't think it was a ring that he gave her that first garden meeting, right? I don't think so. I don't think there was
Mm,
any rings exchanged.
I'm
I'll
not
have to go
sure,
back and
but I know that throughout the entire movie, she kept kissing that ring.
So maybe she did give it to her. I'll have to go back to
Yeah.
that moment.
She
Maybe
kept
he gave
she
her that
kept
ring in
kissing
the
it.
garden. So I'm guessing that that's the ring. I'll have to go back and look at that moment in the garden where
Yeah.
he probably gave her a ring as a promise ring. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll go back and look at that. But yeah, but
Yeah.
the ring is significant. She gives it to this homeless man that she thinks is Jesus, and the homeless man is
Yeah.
shocked, the real ruby, right? And then the
Yeah.
final moment is her just walking down like a small street in Paris, side street, and you see Notre Dame in the background, right?
Yes.
And again, that's very symbolic thing, because again, she's walking towards God, Notre Dame. She's walking
Yes.
towards the cathedral, because that's all
Oh,
she's got.
yeah.
All she's
Yeah.
got is God now. She's got nothing else. And it's a really heartbreaking film on many levels. It's also a very
Oh,
real
yeah.
film. My understanding, I was reading on the Wikipedia page that the studio was very uncomfortable with the ending of this movie, right?
Oh, really?
That they thought it's too depressing, so they were too There were two. Louis Mayer himself commissioned a second version that has a happy, I guess, ending, and the theaters were given the choice, depending on your local market, play whichever ending you think your audience will want. But the ending that has survived historically is the tragic ending.
Is the tragic ending, and it shouldn't be, because then it would be kind of condoning her actions.
Yeah, and there's no lesson. There's no lesson. This is the permanent ending, right?
Yeah, this is
all she has is God now. There's nothing else.
Yeah, and also, just to speak of her body language walking down that street, how she's playing the drunkard is very, very good. I mean, even when she's walking away from the carriage, and so I was like, wow, this woman was so good at her craft. And
she's 21. This is her second Hollywood movie. She had like one movie in Sweden before this. I mean, this is all natural. She hadn't taken any acting classes. There's no film acting classes.
Yes,
they're just inventing this as they go along, right?
Yep. They're inventing this. This is a brand new kind of thing, and it was just she's been able to do that throughout this entire movie. But this is a new character we're being introduced to. This drunkard.
We haven't seen this version at all, and yet she's completely in the body of it.
It's wonderful work, and another triumph, the Temptress.
Look how we talked about it. There's, we can project. I'm sure there'll be people that will watch this and will say, "Oh, we're making all these stereotypical comments about men and women," and project various modern social, academic analyses of gender relations. I'm just speaking as a human being, and that's why this movie is immortal. And most of us will appreciate the immortality of this movie because it's archetypal, and there's no judgment. There's even a judgment on her. A human being with flaws and complexities, and you love her because of that. And the ending makes
Yeah. First of all, I want to say thank you for introducing me to this film, because I had never seen it before until watching it for this. And it just is more modern than it isn't. And I saw a lot of things in it that I was like, oh, okay. I can see where that would come into play, into these concepts are timeless. That's what I'm saying.
And also, again, the cinematography,
they're timeless.
This film, you didn't catch a screen grab of it, but there's a moment in the movie. I think it's actually when she's leaving, but there's a moment when she's left and she's like taking a horse carriage back to the boat that's going to take her to Europe, right?
Yes.
And crosses the wilderness of Argentina, and the sun is against it. I mean, this is
beautiful.
Stunning. I mean, this is stuff that you would see in Lawrence of Arabia, 30, 40 years later, right? That's what you would see. I mean, some of the most incredible desert shots of sun in Lawrence of Arabia are in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And it didn't have to be in the movie, because you could just say, oh, now we're in Paris. 6 years later.
He's someone who cared about his craft enough that I'm gonna, let's try this. It's never been done before. Let's make this stunning cinematography shot that no one's ever thought of.
It wasn't necessary, but it was beautiful. It was necessary in the artifact of this film, as being culturally significant for sure. And like just the different things, like walking up the stairs. He sets in motion
all of these thrillers and horror movies in the future. Just that tension.
Yes, and her hearing, you can tell when she hears
every
footstep,
every footfall, he's coming.
And it's just so wonderfully done. So yeah, definitely excited about this.
We got to keep this going. The next one is Flesh and the Devil. That's her next movie.
Okay,
that's also available on YouTube. Flesh and the Devil. Maybe we should set a time to do that one. I haven't seen that one yet, so this will be new for both of us.
Okay, Flesh and the Devil. We shall.
That's her first John Gilbert movie. Her great personal tragic romance with the actor John Gilbert starts that.
Oh yes. Okay. So, and it's also another.
Yeah, I checked to tell you. I mean, I actually would recommend people get the DVD of it, because some of the YouTube cuts of these, like I think in one of the YouTube videos I saw of the Temptress, the music cuts out halfway through, and the music is so beautiful. So I've got the Warner re-release DVD, and they actually redid the music with the live orchestra, re-recorded the music.
Oh wow!
because I guess some of the music is lost from the original film. That's what you're seeing on YouTube, right? And
well, the one I saw didn't have any music at all.
Okay, then I would actually urge you to get the DVD.
Okay, I am gonna have
the
to.
Music is so mesmerizing. The music is purely mesmerizing. You watch the movie without the music. The music is 50% of its beauty.
I know. I was like, where's the music on this? And all of the ones that maybe
it was lost in whatever print they had. But in 2005, Warner Brothers re-released this film in a silent film collection, which you can get on Amazon, where the music has been rescored by live orchestra, and it's just mesmerizing. But in any event, Flesh and the Devil is on there as well, and so people should, you can watch these on YouTube, but it's worth $20 in getting the DVDs, because there's nothing like these movies. These movies created Hollywood. And and created Greta Garbo. I mean, she is someone that we're talking about 100 years later for a good reason.
Yes, absolutely. And so I will have your link in the description, so people can reach you at your Patreon.
Please.
And I want to thank you once again for joining me. And I'm loving this series that we're doing right now. So everyone, YouTube is going to suggest a video for you to watch. So go ahead and watch that if you want to keep supporting the channel, see what else is on the channel, as well. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Take care, everybody. Yes, take care, everyone.